Hello and welcome back to my desk. I'm very excited that the day has come that I can now set up my Hobonichi. I just wanted to start this video by saying, if you watched the last couple of videos where I featured the Hobonichi cousin, I had bought the Hobonichi cousin to use as my work planner for the year, which is still my intention, although I am going to try journaling in it as well to see if I prefer this larger size. However, I didn't then buy the HON version as well. I actually sold the original cousin that I bought and replaced it with this HON. This is the Liberty Fabrics design for 2026. And it's not really the kind of thing I would usually buy. I thought if I was going to buy the HON, it would be a relatively plain cover, particularly the one with the slash design, which is very simple and potentially a little bit more corporate, if you like. I can't really explain it. I kept being drawn back to this pattern, and so I went with that gut instinct. I was waiting to get these mildliners because I wanted to use these in the weekly pages. So to start with, the yearly index page I've decided I'm going to use for my work tracker. I'm going to add in my client names here and the time that, or the number of hours that I'm contracted to work for each one. And then on the dates here, I'm just going to keep a log of the hours that I do and a quick note of the work that I've actually done for them on those dates. And then at the bottom here, I'm just going to keep a note of any upcoming work for the following month or couple of months to keep track of that. And then the little boxes on the left hand side, I'll tick those once I've sent the invoice for that work for the month. And then I'm just going to highlight the days. I generally work Mondays and Fridays for my freelance work, so I'm just going to highlight Mondays and Fridays throughout the month just so I can see a bit more clearly which are my freelance days, and also just so I can make a note of how many hours I've worked for each client on those days. And just make a note of the actual work that I've done for them as well. I also want to put a note at the bottom for a target, an income target that I've set for myself. This only applies to my freelance work, so this is in addition to my part-time job. So I just want to keep track of where I am in terms of that income target throughout the year. Next, as we move into the monthly pages, this is where in my previous planner I've recorded a snapshot or a highlight, just a couple of words for each day throughout the year, and then I've decorated each page. So what I will do is decorate the January spread here, and it's just, I like to do it each month actually, so it gives me sort of a creative, a kind of arty project to do each month. And now to the weekly pages. This is the one where I actually copied this out onto some scrap paper, and I've just been trialing a couple of ways to use this, mainly because I usually use a horizontal layout, and so this is kind of a bit of a change for me. But I'm going to put in the structure that I believe will work and not kind of worry too much that, and accept it's going to change throughout the year. It's very unlikely that what I set out at the beginning of the year will actually not need adapting at all throughout the year. I've then set up the weekly pages using my new mildliners. So I've got a section at the top here for meetings, a section here to put 2 or 3 priorities for each day, and then I've got space at the bottom here to write my to-do list, split out by these 4 areas. So this is for my freelance work, this area is for my job, this is for home tasks, and this is for my content. For the daily pages, I'm going to log my food, exercise, wellbeing activities. So these are things like taking a few minutes out to read a chapter of a book or do a short meditation, taking my vitamins. And then each month I'm focusing on one of my 3 values. So each day of that month I'm just going to write a few lines on how I've managed to kind of remember to check in with that value. It might change after that, but I'm going to give this a go for a month to log these 4 things and then use the rest of that page there to journal. So the only thing I have left to do on this is to add these tabs. So I bought some pastel ivory tabs. So previously I've had the brighter coloured ones. So I'm just going to pop these in for the time log for my freelance work, daily snapshot in the monthly pages. This will just open at the current week, and this one will be the start of the journal or the daily section. And also add a pen loop, because I like to have my Parker jotter with me all the time. So I'm going to pop these last things on, and then I think I'm finally ready to use this at the start of the new year.